Hey, what's going on YouTube? HyperDark19 here, bringing you another installment of my Breaking the Meta segment. Today I'm not going to be talking about a deck that I built, or actually a deck that even exists yet, but I'm going to be, as the title hints, previewing a deck that I think is coming up. The cards are going to be released in the set Order of Chaos, which comes after Photon Shockwave. I believe it's supposed to be released in February, but yes, cards from Order of Chaos that will support a very underwhelming until now archetype that I think is really cool, really gets a boost in Order of Chaos, and I think will make actually a very interesting and playable deck. Now, what deck am I talking about, you may ask? Well, the archetype that's going to be getting a lot of love from Order of Chaos is, surprisingly, ninjas. Ninja cards have been around since really early on in Yu-Gi-Oh, but as an archetype they've always been really underwhelming and have never gotten a whole lot of any kind of good support, really, other than the only really good ninja card out there. I mean, right now, well, there's a few good ones. I mean, Art of Transformation is an interesting card. Strike Ninja I've always loved. Thought it could be good, but there just wasn't enough support for them until Order of Chaos, because thanks to the Zayal anime, there's a whole lot of love for ninja cards. So we're going to be getting a lot of decent support that actually I think can make them a very playable deck and a very playable archetype overall. So I'm going to start with spell and trap cards. Now, if you've been paying attention to Ninja support over the past couple of years, a lot of their spell and trap cards have the prefix in their name of ninjutsu art. So, and that's going to be continuing in the Order of Chaos cards. So we're going to start with Ninjutsu Art Freeze Lock. Now, this is a continuous trap card. A lot of the ninja cards are continuous, which might hurt their playability, except for the fact that all their effects are really broken. So, first off, Freeze Lock. Continuous trap, you can only activate it if you have a ninja monster under your control. Its effect, I'm not sure, this is the way the effect reads. I'll get to the interpretation later. The effect reads, if you control a ninja monster, you can negate the attack of one of your opponent's monsters and end the battle phase, and as long as it's active, your opponent's monsters can't change their battle positions. Now, what this says to me is, my interpretation of this effect, because the first effect, while the second effect is obviously continuous, the first effect is kind of questionable, but it doesn't say once per turn. It doesn't say you can only use this effect once. It doesn't say only when you activate this card you can use this effect. It doesn't say anything like that. It just says if you have a ninja monster, you can negate an attack and end the battle phase. Now, what this means to me is that theoretically, if you have this card and a ninja monster on the field, you should theoretically be able to lock down your opponent's battle phase and shut down any kind of attack they throw at you, which I don't have to tell you is an absolutely broken effect that would make it a 3 per deck in any kind of ninja deck. Um, but other than that, I mean, if I'm wrong about that, I could be wrong. I haven't seen any kind of official rulings on the wording of the card, and we probably won't until it comes out in English. But if I'm wrong about that, it's still a negate attack at the very least, and it's a decent enough card that I think it should see play in a ninja deck. Absolutely, it's one of the better support cards. Next off, another continuous trap called Ninjutsu Art Rust Mist. This is an interesting one. It's a lot more situational than the last one, but still can be pretty broken in the right situations. As long as it's active, whenever your opponent special summons a monster, that monster's attack automatically gets cut in half. I know. Interesting. I mean, Blackluster Soldier's not going to be looking too intimidating if he only has 1,500 attack points when he gets summoned. So, I know, and Christie at 1,400. I mean, come on. The special summoning in this day and age, special summoning is very, very important in the game, and most of the top decks use it to summon their powerful monsters. So, I mean, imagine every time they summon a Scrap Dragon, go into a Stardust, any kind of special summonable monster, even Judgment Dragon, like I said, Christia, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, even their attack gets cut in half, and it makes them a lot less threatening. Even if they do have powerful effects, even if they do manage to get around you somehow and get in some damage, you can just blow them away next turn with your more powerful monsters. So, I mean, I think it's pretty good. I would only whereas with Freeze Lock, I would say it's an automatic 3 of pretty much. I would say this would maybe be a 1, maybe 2 of, just because, as you'll see later, these cards are so searchable now. And I don't know, it just seems a little bit situational to me, but in an anti-meta capacity, very, very good in the right hands. Last but not least, for the continuous traps of the ninjutsu arts, we have there used to be a card, Ninjutsu Art of Transformation, if you really know your obscure cards, that was really the ace card of ninjas because it let you tribute one of your ninjas to special summon an insect wing beast or I believe beast type monster from your deck. That was, obviously would be more powerful. And the favorite combo with that was summon Dark Simorgh out of your deck. I mean, fairly good move. But in Order of Chaos, we get Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation, which, as its name implies, is a lot like it's actually like the Super Poly for ninjas, in that it doesn't make you summon a fusion monster, but it's a continuous trap that allows you to tribute one of your ninja monsters and a monster your opponent controls and summon a dinosaur, dragon, or sea serpent type monster from your deck that has a level equal to or less than the combined total levels of the tributed monsters. So, theoretically, if you tributed your 4-star ninja and one of your opponent's 4-star monsters, like say, I don't know, Thunder King Ryo, something you would have a hard time getting rid of any other way, you can then summon a level 8 dragon, or below, dragon, sea serpent, or dinosaur monster from your deck. And while sea serpents may not get a lot of support, I don't have to tell you that dragons and dinosaurs have some of the most powerful and like ridiculously powerful monsters in the entire game. So this is a really good piece of support, really. And like Super Poly, it helps get rid of a lot of threats that you really couldn't get rid of otherwise. You can get around lots of lockdown cards, Ryo, Christia, even Judgment Dragon, lots of cards that you wouldn't be able to get around otherwise. So it makes it really, this is a really, really needed piece of support for ninjas and really makes the deck a lot more offensive. And I think, a lot more offensive strength. And I think could really turn the tide in a lot of situations. And it's pretty broken. Last but not least, for the ninjutsu arts, we have the only spell of the group, which is Ninjutsu Art Gold Conversion. This is going to be a normal spell card that is really every good archetype needs its draw card, and this is the ninja draw card basically, where you play it and you destroy any face-up ninjutsu art cards you control, so the continuous traps obviously, and then after that you draw 2 cards. So if you think about it, if you play it down, you can tribute off, I don't know, maybe your Freeze Lock or Rust Mist that's sitting face up. If you think about it, since you've probably already played those cards and they've been out on the field for a few turns, you tribute them and draw 2. It's really a +1 if you're only sacrificing one of them. So playing Gold Conversion is almost always going to be a +1 for you. And at the very worst, you'll break even. So I don't know. That seems pretty worth it to me. Also, it just serves as a way to get rid of some of your useless cards. I mean, did they manage somehow to get around your super transformation? It's just sitting there on the field. Or do you have a freeze lock out there and no ninja to use it with, so it's kind of dead? Gold conversion, blow them away, draw 2, awesome. So yeah, I really think that, and like I said, they're all searchable by one of the next cards I'm going to talk about. So it makes it really, really consistent draw power for the ninja deck. So yeah, I think it's really worth it, honestly. And gold conversion would obviously be 2 or 3 in a ninja deck if you're running the art cards, which I think you should, honestly. All right, so those are the spell and trap cards support. Now onto the monster support. First off, like I said, search guy, we have Ninja Master Hanzo, who is basically the Stratos for ninjas. And I know that I don't have to tell you that any card with a Stratos-like effect should almost always be considered for some kind of casual or tournament play. And Hanzo is amazing, to be honest. He has 1800 attack, 4 stars, just like Stratos, but he's dark, which makes him a little more playable in that respect. 1800 attack, 500 defense, something like that, I believe. 1800 attack, like I said, on par with Stratos, good beat stick. If that wasn't enough, he has a similar effect to Stratos, but his effect is determined on what method you use to summon him. If he's normal or flip summoned, you fetch a ninjutsu art card from your deck to your hand. So either gold conversion the spell or one of the many ninjutsu art trap cards. I mean, and it really tailor made to suit the situation. You need to protect him, you need to lock down your opponent, fetch your freeze lock. If you want to shut down your opponent's special summons that you think might be coming next turn, get your Rust Mist. If you have some dead cards sitting around, get your gold conversion. I mean, you can get anything. And if you want to get your super transformation or your regular transformation, anything you want, you can get it with this guy. Not only that, but when he's special summoned, you can instead add a ninja monster from your deck to your hand. Now, you may ask, well, how the hell are you going to special summon this guy other than like Monster Reborn or some crap like that? Two words: Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk makes an amazing combo with Hanzo because you can just play Summoner Monk, discard a spell, fetch Hanzo. Hanzo's effect activates. You get a ninja from your deck to your hand. So really, you break even, honestly, and you're set up for a level 4, rank 4, I should say, Ixie summon. And this deck is all about Ixie summons, so yeah, especially rank 4. So yeah, definitely, definitely worth playing. Hanzo's the Stratos. He's fantastic, and he works well with the other ninja that I should think should really be considered. Gold Ninja, who's a 4-star light ninja, dark and light, chaos friendly. Throw in a couple sorcerers and Blackluster Soldier, and you're good, really. Not if that as if that wasn't enough. Gold Ninja's stats are pretty much the reverse of Hanzo's. He has 500 attack and 1800 defense, so you're not going to do much. Excuse me, you're not going to do much attacking with him probably. But his effect is once per turn you can pitch a trap card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon a level 4 or lower ninja monster from your deck. Yes, I know you're thinking combos perfectly with Hanzo. Once again, you'll break even, have 2 level 4s, perfect Ixie summon conditions. It's a win-win. I mean, you may balk a little bit at the condition of discarding a trap card, but if you think about it, ninja decks, if you play them right, I believe they're going to be pretty trap heavy. So having traps, extra traps sitting around in your hand is really not going to be that big of a deal, and it'll happen pretty frequently. At least with the testing I've been doing on Dueling Network, it happens pretty frequently. I mean, if you've got that useless trap sitting in your hand, Torrential, and you can't use it, or Solemn Warning, and it's really not valid, just pitch it with Gold Ninja. Yeah, and you can get something possibly more valid, like a monster or something. So yeah, well, like I said, combos perfectly with Hanzo. The two of them together make perfect chaos food. So win-win, I think. I think Gold Ninja is definitely a staple of any ninja deck. And last but not least, like I said, this deck is all about Ixie summons, especially rank 4. So you can use it with Utopia, even Illuminite, you can get 3 monsters out. Speaking of which, 3 monsters. Gold Ninja's effect says once per turn, like Hanzo's effect is conditional. You can't fetch another Hanzo with Hanzo's effect, but Gold Ninja's effect does not say you can't summon another Gold Ninja. So you could conceivably chain summon 3 Gold Ninjas and maybe even a Hanzo by pitching 3 trap cards from your hand. So I don't know. You sets you up for Illuminite because he needs 4 monsters. Could set you up for 2 rank 4 Ixie summons. I don't know. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with this guy. So ninjas have a lot of little swarm capability now, a little swarming the field, always good. And like I said, the Ixies monster of the group, there's actually 2 ninja Ixies monsters, but only one that I think is really that good overall. And the one I want to discuss is that one, Armored Ninja Bladeheart. It is a rank 4 Wind Ixies monster. I know Wind is kind of random, but whatever, you can't have everything. It's got 2200 attack. Now you may think that's a little low, but I'll explain later. His effect is pretty awesome, I think. He needs 2 level 4 warrior monsters. Fortunately, most ninjas are warriors. All of them that you would run on a deck, I think, are warriors. So yeah, pretty easy to summon, especially with the swarming capabilities like I mentioned. And his effect is pretty good. You detach 1 material from him, and he or another ninja you control can attack twice during the battle phase this turn. I think that's pretty ballin', to be honest. I know 2200 attack seems a little bit low for a rank 4 or a double attacker to be any good, but especially once you consider all the possible combinations with the other ninja cards, it turns out to be pretty awesome. I mean, Freeze Lock can protect him if he does end up to be too weak. Rust Mist sets up perfectly because your opponent tries to summon big beat sticks to beat you down, their attack gets halved, and you have your perfect setup for next turn Bladeheart. What was the other one? Oh yes, and Super Transformation. You can get rid of your opponent's big beater, and if their field is wide open or they've got a couple monsters that are either weak or have already been made weak by Rust Mist, a successful Bladeheart summon and double attack can be devastating. Not only can it destroy 2 of their monsters and leave them open for a direct attack, but if they're already open, that's 4400 damage. That's half their life points. So yeah, this guy is pretty awesome, I think, and I really like him personally. But yeah, that's it for my as for my review, sorry, review of the Ninja cards. Looking forward to their release in Order of Chaos. Testing on Dueling Network. Turns it's looking pretty good so far, but yeah, like I said, my name on Dueling Network is HyperDark19, just like YouTube. So look me up. Yeah, and that's basically it. Until next time, rule the meta. Don't let the meta rule you. And actually, not next time. I'll have a video up in a few minutes about a recent tournament that I went to and a tech card that I think is really awesome. So, yeah, till next time. Peace out, YouTube.